Hello everyone, welcome back to this week's edition of the Foolish Fish Esoteric News, and we've got lots of really cool publications and some very, very nice paraphernalia for you as well, and a couple of pretty cool events as well, which I'll tell you about at the end of the video. And we're starting off today with quite a bit of news by Anathema Publishing, and that's always good news. And they have announced Celestial Intelligences, which is going to be available to pre-order on September 22nd, so just in a couple of weeks. Very, very excited about that. So this is Greg Kaminsky hasn't actually published anything for quite a while, so everyone's really quite excited about this one. It's a look into Giovanni Pico della Mirandola's thoughts on angelology, Kabbalah, and Gnosis. The subtitle there is his quest for the perennial philosophy. So, yeah, very, very interesting topic. Giovanni Pico della Mirandola is one of the Renaissance magicians and philosophers, and I don't know of very much that's been written about him. So this will be a really nice primer, I hope. Very, very excited to see that. I think one of the most exciting things about this is the fact that the typeset and illustrations are by Joseph Uccello. Now, those of you who've been following my channel for a little while, you'll know that one or two of the first books that I reviewed in my Esoteric Books series was Joseph Uccello's Occult books, so Occult 0 and Occult 1 being the first two volumes of his Occult series, in which he brought to life these old alchemical texts with just beautiful illustrations and his thing is typesetting. So I expect this to be a gorgeous work of art. Everyone's been waiting. I certainly have been waiting for the third book in his Occult series, and I've been waiting. This is certainly going to help me be patient for a little while longer. So that's very, very good news. Let's see if we've got a couple of examples of his illustrations there. Yeah, there we are. Very, very recognizable style there. And the two-tone black and red. Very, very cool. Very excited about that. All right, moving on to more Anathema news with a new Heirloom bookmark. Their previous one had been quite successful, I believe, and this is a new one which is inspired by Craig Williams's Entering the Desert. All right, so many of the elements pertaining to that book there, and it's very, very beautiful, very, very nice. I think it's goat skin. There it is, tan brown goatskin leather. If you like that design, and it's a beautiful design, the links are down in the description as always. This is also very interesting and kind of related to Anathema as well. Khepri Press have made available for the first time in a very long time, the Alchemical Zines of Brian Cote-Noir. I know that Anathema Publishing had been thinking about making these available, and it seems that Khepri Press have beat them to it, or I don't know if they maybe had an agreement or whatever, but it seems that you can buy this collection. It's a boxed set, basically. This is a box in which all of these original alchemical zines by Brian Cote-Noir are kept. And actually, if I just go back for a moment here to the Anathema page and I go to the books, etc., you'll see that if you're living in Canada, this may actually be your cheapest option for shipping. Oh, here it is right there, and you can see some more details of what that looks like. Now, your cheapest, so this is Canadian dollars, of course, your cheapest option for shipping if you're in the US will be directly through Khepri. If you're in the UK, I believe, let's see, it's they wrote down here that Treadwell's Bookshop, Watkins Books, and Igloo Tree might actually be your cheapest options if you're in the UK or in Europe. Anathema Publishing for Canada, and direct from Khepri right here if you're living in the US. That looks very exciting. I know that Brian Cote-Noir is very well regarded amongst circles of people who know. There we go. Moving on to news from Black Letter Press, who have just announced a new publication, Anatomy of Melancholy. There's the regular version, the regular edition here, which is, it's just so beautiful, isn't it? I think that's going to be a lovely, lovely thing. And there's also this one, the kind of special collector's edition with its slipcase, and actually they're both incredibly gorgeous things, at least in their projected form, it seems pretty affordable as well, considering that this kind of object normally goes for much more than that. This is quite a maybe surprisingly, right? But because it's a lot of money for sure. But for this kind of binding, you don't get that normally for €150. That's a very, very nice price. Now, talking about very expensive books, Ixaxaar have announced that they will be making available just a few copies of an omnibus edition for around $700 of the Liber Falxifer. Now, the Liber Falxifer I just looked up recently. In fact, I think that there is a first edition available on Miskatonic Books at the moment, if I remember correctly, going for it's over $4,000 for that first edition. So having all three of those for $700 is it's much cheaper than what they usually go for. It also seems that the first book will get a 13th anniversary edition. There's some details about it over here. It will most likely be less expensive than $4,000. I would certainly hope, but it's hard to say with Ixaxaar. It's the number of copies released every time is very, very small, and so there's an element of rarity there which comes into play. If some of you are interested in that, I'm not sure. I think it's around 30 copies of this omnibus edition which will be made available. There we are. Moving on to Theon Publishing, who have announced that there are only around 20 copies of Cosmogonic Eros, which I reviewed coming up to a year ago now. So if you were hoping to pick up a copy of that, you might want to do so sooner than later. Moving on to the Folio Society, who have just announced a new special edition of the Divine Comedy. So once again, very, very expensive books, but they seem worthwhile, very, very gorgeous editions. You're not paying for the text. The text is free. It's copyright free. This is not what you're buying. What you're buying is the container, right? It's the book. It's the object, the design of the object, the craftsmanship of the object, and so on. And it's in 3 volumes, and it comes in this kind of drawer case book. So lovely, with illustrations by, I can't remember what the name of the illustrator is, but just a quick look here at the spines of the 3 volumes, the Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso, of course, and sitting on their presentation box there. And just the little details, isn't it? The illustration inside the drawers, and here we go, illustrations by Neil Packer. There we are. And then yeah, the way the edges are decorated with those quotations, just yeah, really, really lovely if you've got that kind of money, right? Yeah, these are, once again, these are the kinds of books that don't go down in value once they're out of stock, right? They tend to increase significantly. All right, moving on to this is kind of a funny thing that I saw. I was hesitating. I've got a whatever, you'll see at the end of the video. But I was considering showing this at the end of the video, and it's an interesting one. It's the Herbalist's Primer, so it's a Kickstarter project which has got just 15 days left to go. You can see that it's way overfunded already, and it keeps going up every moment. And it's basically real life. How to call it, book of plants with real life potions, right? Based on these real life plants, and it's created and organized for role playing gamers, right? To be able to use these real life plant potions and spells and so on and so forth in role playing tabletop role playing games, and I thought that was an innovative thing to do, and possibly an interesting thing for non-role-playing people, the kind of people who might be watching my channel, just to get an idea of these original, beautifully illustrated, as you can see, recipes and descriptions of plants. I think that's quite a nice thing, and yeah, possibly something to be picked up. There we go. Let's move on to so a couple of courses and events next. This was pointed out by Gentaka on the so Gentaka is one of our long-standing members, and she posted this quite recently in the last couple of hours on the Foolish Fish Discord chat server. So if you're interested in that, of course, check out in the description how to become a member, and then how to join the Foolish Fish Discord chat server to talk with other members. And it's a Cartomancy and Necromancy course. It's rather on the dear side, but it's Camelia Elias after all, and she's very, very well respected within the tarot community, and I would imagine that spending a little bit of time with her would be certainly worth that kind of money. It looks like a very interesting course. If that sounds interesting to you, the links are down below naturally, and you can read all about the agenda, the kinds of things that the course will be covering, and she's got a really pretty website. I think it's quite beautiful. And by the way, while you're there, you can check out all the rest of the content that she's got there. There's a free course, if I remember correctly, as well. If you have a look under her courses, have a look at that. All right, moving on to Magia. So Magia is the annual big event for many of England's best known magicians, and their proposed schedule has been made available, and you can see that there are quite a few very cool names there. This year, of course, it'll be happening online, so anyone can join. So this is Eastern Daylight Time. Oh, I've no idea what that would be. And yeah, lots and lots of very, very cool names from Christopher Warnock, Alkistis Demek, and many others. I know that Rufus Opus is there as well, and Dr. Al Cummins, of course, and many others, many more. If you're interested in that, have a look at the description down below. Of course, it should be extraordinary. It should be amazing, and possibly the next best thing to being there in person. That would be a lovely thing, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be happening this year. All right, moving on to a couple of objects that I found. Again, just so much money. I mean, but nevertheless, I thought that I'd show it to you because it's such a beautiful object. This beautiful scrying mirror with this lovely octagonic cover for it, and the 7 celestial names of God all around it. It's just really, really beautiful. Now I found another one for a very different price, but it also looks very different. Naturally, if you can't get results from this one, you won't get results from this one. It is all about your practice. It's all about what's inside of naturally, right? This mirror isn't going to make anyone more proficient than this mirror. It's just that you might need to have done quite a bit of money magic beforehand to be able to reach out for this one. But wow, what a gorgeous, gorgeous object. I think whoever is able to afford this kind of thing is very lucky indeed. And then moving on finally to my Kickstarter of the week. Now, normally I show you a board game of the week, but I wasn't really able to find any board games that made me excited this week. So I found this instead, which did make me excited, and I thought I'd share this with you instead. And it's called Eyes Closed, Mind Open, and it is it's a compendium of 125 dreams, right? So they're dreams with illustrations. And I think that that's a really nice idea. Lots and lots of different artists collaborating on this. It just looks gorgeous. Looks really, really nice. So yeah, the collaboration of many artists is usually a nice thing, and yeah, that's what we're seeing right here. Some of the artists involved. One thing that I haven't shown you, and I suppose while we're here on Kickstarter, I might as well have a quick look at Frater Setnak's here we are, 44 planetary seals, which are, I believe, we're almost at halfway funded. I was talking about Frater Setnak's 44 planetary seals of King Solomon last week, but yeah, as I was mentioning, they are again pretty expensive, but absolutely gorgeous objects. I really hope that he can manage to get those funded, but yeah, we're quite far away from the goal still. Still 20 days to go, so you know we're not even halfway through the allocated time, and yeah, it's very often the case that in the last few days the total pledge kind of spikes. Let's hope that it spikes enough to get this one funded. We'll see. Thank you ever so much for watching, as always. See you very soon with another video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It really helps me. And to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And then click that little bell button so that you can actually get to see my videos when they go online, rather than for them to get relegated to your subscriptions page, which nobody ever looks at, right? Thanks again for your time. And yeah, see you very soon with another video. Take care. Bye-bye.